I used to sink into my Buddhi's cinnamon and homely bosom. This barging Buddhi permitted some unwitting pedestrian to pass on the way to schools.
Sunita Thind, who is battling ovarian cancer, is preparing for the virtual launch of a debut poetry collection next Thursday. The former model's collection, which is titled The Barging Buddhi and Other Poems, explores Punjabi and British cultures from a female's perspective. And we spoke to the 37-year-old to find out all about her latest project, as well as her journey with ovarian cancer.
I would say it's from a woman's perspective, living between two cultures, Punjabi and British. So that is probably the main theme, but there's also environmental poetry in there.
Yeah.
Because I do care about nature as well. There's poetry about my experience of ovarian cancer, which has affected my life quite a lot. And there's poetry in there about, I think there might be some poetry in there about mental health and just more your more mainstream poetry. And obviously there's cultural poetry in there. From my point of view, as I said, growing up as yourself, like a British Asian person, and the expectations that you have to live with, really. So yeah.
And what was the sort of spark for you to put that together? Was it a bit of a combination of the experiences that you've had in your life?
Yeah, I would say I've always loved poetry and writing because I did a degree in English and history and I was a secondary English school teacher. So I was always kind of like scribbling things down, and I'd had a lot of things published in journals and things before I wrote the book. But I think it was after I had my ovarian cancer that I felt like I needed an outlet for my mental health.
You mentioned your battle with ovarian cancer.
Yes.
I mean, has that, do you feel, made you sort of stronger, the difficulties and what experiences that you have faced, and what's that been like to go through?
I would say it's been absolutely hell, to be honest. I've had therapy for it, and I am actually seeing a therapist at the moment. I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah. I had the chemotherapy, my hair thinned a bit. I lost a lot of confidence because I was just thinking, God, I could have died, basically. And then I was having to they wanted me to have a preventative hysterectomy, and it just felt like they were saying that is the best way, is just to cut it out, and I refused. Then what happened after that? So then I was just having lots of checks and everything, and then I think it was in 2018 I had a cystectomy. That came back fine because there wasn't a cyst on my ovary. Then I had to have fertility treatment, and they were just pumping my remaining ovary full of drugs, so it literally was like, imagine The Rock on, like steroids. So then I went under again, and I had 8 eggs retrieved. And then they found a cyst again, but it was doing watch and wait. But I was clear, so I kind of felt like, I'm just going in for a routine thing. Then I found out probably a couple of months ago I had to have a cystectomy. Obviously I wasn't thrilled about it, so that was a shock, and I had to deal with that because there was a chance I'd have to lose my ovary. You've got to fill out a consent form. I had done a genetic test beforehand to see if I had the BRCA gene. I didn't have it. But my mum wasn't too keen, I think, for me to kind of ask for my sister or brother to have a test done. But apparently ovarian cancer is it's 70 to 80 of those percentage of those cases are not genetically linked. So I didn't have anyone in my family that had cancer. I was the first one. Had the cyst out. I lost a litre of blood, or was it a pint or something, and then they took out the cyst, and then I was in there for a couple of days because I fainted. And then when I came in, I literally had just come out of hospital on the Wednesday. Thursday I had to recover, had me back in the hospital again to tell me that it was cancer and that they wanted me to have a hysterectomy. And I was like, no way, I don't want a hysterectomy. But they said to me that if I keep my uterus and my womb, then there was a high chance of the cancer coming back. And also, even if they are willing to implant the eggs, the hormones I have to take will aggravate that. But for me personally, that is a risk I'm willing to take, but I am getting a second opinion. So yeah, I would say it's been pretty horrific, to be honest, saying that it came back again, and also the fact that I have to lose my only ovary, and I'm going to be going into menopause at 37. It's not what you want to hear. I don't want to go for surgery, and I certainly don't want to go for chemo, but it's something that I'm having to deal with. And it's hard to get up sometimes on a daily basis and deal with it, because you can get quite angry about it, you can get resentful, or you can just try and do something about it. So, I managed to raise some money for charity and stuff, which was good.